Hey, how's it going everybody? Sarasota Tim. Welcome to another video here from my beautiful camper I live in full-time, living on Social Security and a side hustle called YouTube. I am a new carnivore, and that's how you just leave it. I am not on a carnivore diet. I am a new carnivore. Carnivore is a lifestyle. It is not a diet. This is not something you try for a while and you go back to eating regular foods. This is something that you change your health, your life, your weight, your thinking, everything. I was going to use a good analogy. I just watched a movie called Animal. It was a long anticipated movie that carnivores made to dispel big pharmaceutical and how we're being poisoned by eating whole wheat, grains, and plant-based foods. And it was an hour-and-a-half movie. You can watch it on many streaming services. I watched it on Amazon for $4.99. And this is my review of the movie Carnivore. So I have a subscriber that we all know, Jim Bauer, who got me on Carnivore. And I've had other subscribers starting to chime in that are also carnivore, and some are ketovore or ketogenic. They have low calorie, low carb, some sort of a diet, where carnivore, like I said, is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. This is religion. I mean, I'll just say it. This is how you have to live. And you know what? It's not difficult. One, because you can eat till you're satiated, and you're eating steaks, fish, chicken, butter, eggs, meat products with eggs and butter, high in fat. And the movie Animal that I watched tonight, I was told by another subscriber of mine, who I don't know if he's full carnivore, but he's intrigued with it, and he did lose a lot of weight. Hang on. He told me that there's another content creator that made a review already this evening or yesterday after watching the movie. And he's been a carnivore for many years. And he's somewhat popular. He's got quite a few subscribers. And that's really his whole shtick, is talking carnivore. And to make YouTube content, he literally studies and watches Dr. Ken Berry, Sean Baker, and others I don't know the names of yet because I'm new to carnivore. But I know those two. And I know the other ones too, but their names just escape me right now. But this fellow that I'm talking about, that's been doing it for multiple years, he only does carnivore videos, and he knows quite a bit about it, a lot more than I do. That's for sure. So he made a review of the movie tonight. After I saw the movie, I wanted to hear what his opinion was. And I'll tell you what mine is. His was a 20-minute video, and it was sort of a negative might not be the right word, but it wasn't positive. He gave high marks to the cinematography and the editing. But as far as the movie itself, he said, I looked at it from a carnivore's point of view, a person that's you can't spell carnivore, a scientist, and a movie maker. He looked at it from all four points of view. And he said, as a carnivore, I don't think I heard anything that I don't already know. So that's kind of the first thing I got from him is, and I'm sure he knows a lot. And I'm sure they did repeat, because I heard quite a few things that I've watched on videos, especially the trailer and the first part of the movie, I should say, was very familiar to a lot of the things that I've heard these same people say on their YouTube channel. But it didn't bother me because it was good to hear it again. I want to be able to repeat it myself in my future videos about carnivore. because I really believe in carnivore. Uh, Going back, just a short story with me, I'm 21 days. Today is my third week. I had tried to do it just weeks earlier and quit. And I knew someone else, actually, where I live here, that works in the office, that also was on it and failed, quit, gave up. You know why? Not because the food is boring or we didn't feel better and all the things that we'll go into on the video here, but we're addicted. We're addicted. She's of a Latino culture, so she's addicted to her types of foods. I'm on the seafood diet. If I see food, I eat it. I love every food, especially Mexican food. But sugar is in everything. Bread, you talk about, I'm going to go and eat whole wheat bread. Do you know that turns into glucose, which is sugar? Everything is eating sugar, and we're addicted to it. So I love pasta, and my good friend Raffaella made me a pasta dish when I was on a carnivore several weeks back, and I said, well, one more time. She makes it so good, it's this pasta with olive oil and garlic, minced garlic that is toasted in hot olive oil in a pan and then poured over delicious pasta. And of course we know that's pure sugar. So I failed and I didn't see any weight loss, although before I started cheating and eating sugar again, in a few days I was feeling pretty good, but I didn't recognize it until this last 21 days where I went really strict. And I'm so thankful that I'm regretful that it took me 66 years to figure it out. And it took me a few weeks late after being encouraged to try it because I was saying and complaining about how much weight I'm gaining on my YouTube channel. And by the grace of God, I had a couple of subscribers, mainly Jim Bauer, who kept sending me these videos about Ken Berry and about carnivore. And I'm like, what's a carnivore? And enough already. He was really inundating me because that's what I am now. I am passionate. I want to tell everybody. I want to get on the mountaintop and scream, what are you doing? You're poisoning yourself by the foods that we eat. So the guy that gave the review on the animal movie tonight, his perspective of the people that are carnivores, they're not going to learn anything. They've heard it all. Well, he's heard it all, so he says. I personally disagree with that because while I heard some of it, I heard a hell of a lot more that solidified and took me to another level that I will never say never, but I don't want to ever cheat and poison myself again by eating sugar and other plant-based foods that are poisoning us. The movie is $5. You can see it on Amazon or different streaming services. And it will be the best $5 you ever spent in your life. And if you're the kind of person like me that will sit and watch it from beginning to end without coming to a decision in 5 minutes, which I don't think you will. I think you'll be interested. Especially for those that are diet conscious, they try different diets. They've even done the shot. There's nothing you won't try. You want to lose weight so bad, but you're not even contemplating about how much better you're going to feel. So the movie Animal is, let me get back to the guy that was his review. So he said everybody that's a carnivore already won't get anything out of it. He didn't say boring. He just said good editing, good cinematography. And I totally agree. Excellent made movie, narrated, edited, cinematography, amazing. It's very, very good. It really is. For $4.99, more than that though, the visuals is the information And so then he said, looking at it from a science perspective, people that are into science. Well, he didn't think that they were going to change any minds. He says that they didn't show any proof or any test or any things in the movie that would convince someone of science that has been brainwashed like the rest of us, that, red meat gives you cancer and butter and fat's going to give you cholesterol and clog your veins and this and that. And you might be saying, hey, I never heard of carnivore either. And if you're saying eat that, yeah, that's what I've heard too. Forget it. Don't listen to that noise. I say the scientists, whatever you want to call those people that understand nutrition and the body, will be convinced. Why? I think there was more than enough evidence in the video of doctors. That's who starred in the video. These YouTubers that make that are most, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, and the other 4 or 5 on there, an ophthalmologist. There was several doctors, as well as just regular folks that gave their testimony about their health improvement. See, that's really the biggest thing. And that's what I'm really elated about. I feel amazing. And proof. Here's proof from me to you. Well, before I get into my proof, remind me to tell you about that. So the scientists are going to be convinced because there's doctors in the show. And what's he going to say? Well, they're not doctors. Yes, they are. All right. So carnivore people like me that are new, we're totally more into it now from the movie. Maybe he wasn't because he's 8 years at it and that's all he does is make YouTube videos about carnivore. And he says he didn't learn anything that he hadn't heard 100 times over. Okay, well, I disagree because I'm 21 days into carnivore, and I think that movie right there is what every beginning carnivore person within the 90 days, I'll say that, 90 days of being on carnivore, because this is what they preach. Try it for 90 days. This is what Jim Bauer told me. And I'm only 3 weeks, 21 days out of 90. And I feel amazing, and I've lost 12 pounds. But so that person's going to be convinced. The carnivore person that starts carnivore is going to be convinced. Science is going to be convinced. And the movie editor, well, they don't have to be convinced about anything. They're just going to be convinced it was a good movie. I don't know why he mentioned looking at it from a movie producer's point of view. And then he said this one. This is the one that we want to bring into the fold. And that was your everyday football watching, beer drinking, all American, 4 food groups, pizza, beer, and whatever the other 2 things are, hot dogs and hamburgers. Well, hey, wait a minute. No, not that. That was misspoken. That's carnivore, without the bread, of course. But you know what I'm trying to say. A person that can't spell carnivore, never heard of carnivore, but they, are going around like I did every day thinking, man, you really are, how big you gonna get? What's going on? And it just saddens me in a way that it took me this long. I could have been fit for all those years that I was, and I've been suffering overweight for years. Like the last 7 years is the last time I was down to 180 pounds or a thinner person. I just slowly put it on and kept it on and kept getting. And when I got to 110, that's when I said, I draw a line in the sand. I look in the mirror, I look at my videos, I'm like, totally embarrassing. And I'm very cognizant of my appearance. So I said, I got to do something. I drew a line in the sand. I'm going on a diet. And by the grace of God, I found carnivore. And I had no idea of the other benefits. I had no clue. Within 1 week, folks, if you try carnivore, and here's my proof that I was going to say a minute ago. I'm going to give you proof from me that carnivore helps you and it changes you, and you will feel it almost immediately within about 3 days in your health respect. You tell me that if you're a drug addict and you stop taking pills, you don't feel a difference in 3 days when you detox. You tell me when you're intoxicated from alcohol and you drink every single day and you wake up with a hangover in the morning, and you got to take some aspirin or an Alka-Seltzer, that if you didn't drink for a week, that you don't see a change in how you feel. You tell me when you eat foods that give you gas and bloat you, or you walk around going, oh, I ate the whole thing, that if you didn't eat those foods and you ate foods that made you feel satiated, but you weren't going around going, oh, and had irritable bowel syndrome. Everything that you put in here comes out, right? And it's got to go through the liver, the intestines, and all that. Yeah, there's biology here. There's science here. Food has vitamins and food has poisons. And either whatever you put in your mouth is either healing you or hurting you. It's either good for you or it's bad for you. And the movie will teach you a lot of things that I can't recall right now, but I want to say one thing. Did you know that 4 or 5 or 8 corporations feed 90% of our population 100% of what they eat? Now, if I lost you on that, basically, corporations have taken over. You've heard about the farmers going out of business. They're taking topsoil away. They're feeding cows through fake way to get them big and to sell without grass feeding, and doing things to chickens and all these things like that. And at the same time making you ill, making you unhealthy. And then Big Farm steps in and says, we can handle that. Take this pill. And so the movie, I found the movie about every 10 minutes taking me to another level. Like, okay, I see what they're saying now. And I got up on the edge of my seat. I got to the point after about, they call it chapters. They even put it on the screen. Chapter 1, 4, 5. It has like 8 chapters or something like that before it comes to the crescendo. And very well made. And you cannot deny. The reviewer that I was talking about a few minutes ago seems to think that Big Pharma and other powers that be will try to squash the movie to where it won't get out and be seen. And while that may be true, and they don't want people to know the truth, like the government didn't want to know about all the false and wasteful spending and fraud that was going on. Nobody likes to be found out, do they? But word of mouth advertising is the best advertising, and that was my career. And I can tell you that no other advertising is better. And I'm here to tell you that Carnivore works. The Carnivore movie called Animal is well worth the $4.99. It will open your eyes. If you not only want to lose a little weight, but you want to feel like a different person. I'm talking, you're like, what, do you feel a little more energy? You don't have a hangover anymore? No, I'm talking about a new person. You heard about born again? The last time I felt like this is when I got born again. I was so high on God, I wanted to go out and tell everybody about it. Well, Carnivore is the same way. I'm going to be 67 years old, and I'm only 21 days into this, and I see where I'll be able to do the things that I did when I was much younger, and can do a lot of them now. And the way I think and my attitude. Did you know that when you have, let me move out of the way from this fan here. When you eat poisonous foods and you get inflammation, there's also depression, attitude, joy, happiness. thoughts of suicide from food, from what you're eating, can cause autoimmune diseases, IBD, and different things. But also, your brain needs fat. We have the largest brains on the planet. We're the smartest creature. And the movie will show you. People talk about, well, we're not carnivores. We don't have, what do you call them, fangs and them teeth that carnivorous animals have. Canines, whatever they're called. Well, they answer that in there. I've heard people tell me, oh yeah, back in the caveman day when they only ate meat, they only lived to be 35 years old. Hogwash. People were living a long time. They show it in the movie where these people that were striving on buffalo meat were living well into their hundreds. And at 80 years old, they were still following the herd around, carrying meat. Not sitting in an old people's home for 40 years, turning into dust. It talks about how our bodies are created and designed with the proper diet to live 120 years. Thank you. Air conditioning went off. And we're dying at 60, 70, and 80 years old. 90, you think you made it, you knocked it out of the park. We're dying 40 years early. So if it takes you 40 years to be poisoned to die, poison is poison. I'm telling you folks, it's an easy, delicious way to eat. You don't have the cravings up and down with the crashes that you get from sugar. People that are vegans and vegetarians have also joined carnivore and found out that the plants have a lot of anti stuff in them. You know, plants are like, we can't run, we can't kick you, so we put stuff in our plant, in ourselves, to keep you from wanting to eat us. We'll poison you. They make that joke. You gotta listen to Ken Berry on there. I'm messing it up, but you gotta watch this movie. You gotta start being a carnivore, or continue doing you. You know what I mean? It's just a simple choice. It's like candy bar, steak. Whatever you put in your mouth, one is gonna make you healthy and one's gonna make you sick. You have choice. You do. But the guy that gave the review, I thought it was not a good review. I think that the movie was awesome. I think it solidified me. If I could be more sold, I was. And these are doctors, and the points, the bullet points, all through the hour and a half that they say, they deliver one statement after the next that is common sense, that you can't deny, and they address what we've been brainwashed to believe regarding what's healthy for us to eat. And I believe carnivore is going to take off like leaps and bounds. I think it's going to be huge, really huge. And that doesn't sound good for big pharma and the food makers. I mean, wait till you hear about Kellogg, the name Kellogg. Wait till you hear about a couple of things in there. You're not going to believe your ears. But one thing we've all learned, folks, before I end the video, since the pandemic, there's been a lot of false information that we have been awakened to. And we got RFK now going to come out with, to make MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. We discovered about we already knew they were crooked politicians, but we had no idea of the crime and fraud and deception that people in politics were doing and stealing. And wait till you find out what the corporations are doing. Wait till you wake up. Wait till you start feeling good. Wait till you start crushing it.